After the first season of Breakpoint on Netflix, which is a show that was following professional players around the tournaments, what started happening to a lot of these players who were featured is something that was called the Netflix curse. They started losing a lot of matches and their rankings started to drop. But now the curse has befallen the show itself because it has been canceled. There will not be a season 3 of Breakpoint. Now, I've made a couple of videos about Breakpoint, and while I did like it, I watched both seasons. I had some complaints, and many other people did as well. There are two main problems with Breakpoint. For audiences who are not so familiar with tennis, my impression is that they were missing the superstar names like Alcaraz, Djokovic, Sinner. They were not familiar with the players who were featured, and they were pretty bored with the series. They couldn't stick with it. On the other hand, for us super fans of tennis, we were bored because we already knew the outcomes of the tournaments. The way the show was creating these cliffhangers, they were pretty useless because anybody that follows tennis knows exactly what happened in these big tournaments that were featured in the show. Another thing that people were annoyed with, and I have to say I was annoyed with this as well, was the forced storylines in both seasons. It almost seemed as if every single episode of the show needed to have its own storyline, and some of them seemed forced. So it's a big shame that this show has been canceled. This was a big opportunity to get a broader audience into tennis. The Netflix Slam was hugely successful. I heard that 36 million people watched that. There are so many people now on YouTube who do a similar thing to Breakpoint, players who are competing on the ATP Tour, on the Futures Tour, on the Challenger Tour, and they are making videos about it. And some of them have quite a big reach. They're getting views in the hundreds of thousands. But I think the big difference between YouTube and Netflix is that Netflix has such a wide reach. That's why it's a big opportunity lost with the series Breakpoint. YouTube tennis content is a very niche thing. There's a limited amount of views that one can get. Of course, it can go into the millions, no doubt about it. It can definitely go into the hundreds of thousands of views per video. But Netflix can go into the tens of millions, possibly into the hundreds of millions of views. So it's a big shame that Breakpoint is gone, but maybe there will be something else down the road. For example, the Roger Federer documentary that I heard is coming very soon.